What's up everybody and welcome back to a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different decks that you guys can use to farm Inglorious Bastion. I'm going to be showing you guys 1 free-to-play deck and 2 more pay-to-play decks to farm Inglorious Bastion in today's episode or today's video on the Ultimate Farm Guide series. And of course this one is specifically for Inglorious Bastion. So if at any point this video does help you guys out, as always be sure to go hit that like button on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. But of course you can wait to like and subscribe until you watch the entire video. Without further ado though, let's get into the free-to-play deck first, and then I'll talk about the more pay-to-play decks later on in today's video. So let's go switch to it. So the first deck I'm going to be showing you guys is the free-to-play deck, and this is the Ojama farm deck. And I'm going to be honest, I do not like this farm deck at all. The only reason why I'm showing it is because this is the most free-to-play friendly option out of the 3 decks I'm going to be showing you guys in today's video, but I absolutely hate farming with Ojamas. They brick for me more than they actually work out. My success rate with this deck is so much worse compared to the other decks that I'm going to be showing you later on this video. But like I mentioned, this is more of a free-to-play deck. Like for example, if you don't have the Hex Sealed Fusion, you can literally run any other fusion substitute. I was just running the one that's a SR when it comes to that. So here's like even more of a free-to-play friendly just one right here. These are like level up reward cards that you can get. Like it's just 2 different fusion substitutes, and for the most part pretty much all these cards are farmable. If you don't have Fusion Sage, you can run 3 copies of Polymerization. Like look at how free to play that this deck is, or whatever. Like this deck is super free to play. Most people that have the GX World unlocked, which I'm guessing all of you guys do, are most likely going to be able to get most of these cards because these are from Chaz and all that stuff. Fusion Time is a level up reward, I believe, from Jaden, if I remember correctly. Forget the how to attain thing. But yeah, Fusion Time's like a level up reward from Jaden and all that jazz. But still, this is the free-to-play version of the deck. And I'm just going to show you guys this one, but, you know, you can run these cards instead if you don't have 2 or 3 copies of the Hex Sealed Fusion. And also, if you have King of the Swamp, I'd strongly recommend rocking King of the Swamp over some of the other fusion substitutes. I just personally have 0 copies of the King of the Swamp because when that card came out, I was a pretty free-to-play player way back in the day. I think King of the Swamp came out like 2017, early 2018. Something like that. So that's why I don't have a King of the Swamp. But if you have that card, definitely run it over this. But yeah, this is the Ojama farm deck. This deck list has 2 copies of the Hex Field Fusion. You can get from Return to Red Eye, Selection Box, Dawn of Destiny. So many different options. From that, we're rocking 2 copies of Ojama Blue. If you have 3 copies of Ojama Blue, be sure to run that. It's a really good card to search out for some of your other Ojama cards. So that's pretty cool right here. You can get it from Chaz Purchasing as a dual reward or a level up reward, which is pretty nice. Next up, we have 1 copy of the Gravekeeper's Vassal. I personally have a glossy one that you can get with the glossy ranked duels ticket, but if you don't have that, you can go to Iziju Ishtar for her level up reward, so it's pretty good. We have 3 copies of Ojama Black. You can run 3 copies of Ojama Green if you prefer that. It doesn't really matter, but you can get these cards from the starter deck. Same thing with Ojama Green. Just as long as you just have 2 minimum, and then if you need to add extra cards to your deck, you can just add a couple more copies of that. Running 1 copy of Fusion Sage just for the searchability, but you don't really need this. You can run Polymerization if you want. Instead, I just have this thin on my deck. And all that jazz right there. So that's why I'm running Fusion Stage from Chaos Compliance, but if you don't have it, run a 3rd copy of Polymerization. We have 2 copies of Union Attack. Be sure to use your SR Prismatic tickets for a Prismatic Union Attack for a bonus point. If you can't, oh well, just run some normal copies of Union Attack. It'll still get you around 7k score, but if you can, get some Prismatic Union Attacks right there. Rocking 2 of those. Rocking a couple of polys. I have 1 Prismatic Poly, which is going to help out the Prismatic bonus. As you can see, there's so many different ways to get Polymerization, so that's pretty cool right there. Except we have 1 single copy of Ojama Country. If you don't feel like running Fusion Time, you can actually run Chaz's Ojama Country scale, where he starts off the duel with Ojama Country. That's actually could be pretty helpful for different people. So if you don't want to use Fusion Time, or you don't have it, you can do that instead. And then we have Secret Pass to the Treasures right here for the attacks from Ultimate Rising or Selection Box Volume 1. It's only a normal card. If you don't have this card yet, I'd strongly recommend to get it because Secret Pass to Treasures is like in literally every farm deck. When it comes to the extra deck, just run Ojama King and Ojama Knight. That's about it, what you need. And that is it for the deck list. Let me go show you guys the 1 replay that I had pretty good luck with. And I might show you guys 2 replays that I failed, because I have 3 replays in total for this Ojama deck. 2 of them were just bad situations that I could have won, but they're just bad situations that happen either from a misplay or just the situation. But then there's 1 replay that worked out perfect. So I'm going to show you guys the replay that worked out perfect for me, and I'll tell you guys like what you need to watch out for in the long term and all that stuff. So let's get into the replay. Okay, so we're going to be in the replay that worked absolutely perfect for me. In this farm, I got a clean 8,000 score, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and I got extremely lucky. Most cases with this Ojama deck, I do not open up this. Like, I opened up with a God Hand right here. have the Fusion Sage, I'm able to search out for my Prismatic Poly, and I'm able to go into Ojama King immediately. This is the best case scenario for Bastion. Like, it really is. Like, if you have a hand like this, you are good, because the objective of this Ojama farm is that you want to get Ojama King or Knight as quickly as you can on your field, because if you didn't know already with the Ojama cards, as we're going to see right here, the Ojama cards are able to lock down zones, and since they're able to lock down zones, Bastion is not going to be able to summon, and if he gets at least one zombie monster on the field, it's going to be pretty annoying, because he is able to just summon, mill, and all that stuff right here. One of the replays I'll show you later in this video, the only reason why I lost is because the one monster that he summoned was Kazuki, and he was able to mill his entire deck over and over and over again, and he basically decked himself out. It was a really annoying farm right there, because I got Ojama Knight turn 1, locked down 2 of his zones, boom bada bang, and then Kazuki just milled, like Bastion just milled himself to death. It was really annoying. So if you get a situation like this is perfect. You're getting that AK score, easy peasy. Bastion can't thin out his deck. That ain't happening. You're gonna be chilling pretty good. So pretty much from here, like, if you have Ojama King out on the field, you are literally good to go. You have nothing to worry about, and all you gotta do is just make sure that you have your combo cards and all that stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna skip to the end of this replay, and I'll show you guys what you need to do on your final turn in order to farm, and then afterwards I'll show you guys basically the things to watch out for, and I'll give you a visual representation of what you watch out for. So I'll see you in a bit. So on the final turn, when you have no more cards in your deck, this is what you're going to want to do in order to get the 10,000 attack damage bonus and all that stuff, and be able to earn that 8k score from Bastion. This is what you're going to want to do. If you haven't activated Ojama Country already, you're going to want to activate this. Honestly, with Ojama Country, you can pretty much activate it whenever you want or whenever you please. So be sure to activate it whenever you feel like. And then also, if you don't have an Ojama Knight on your field already, you're going to want to use Polymerization to go into your Ojama Knight and make sure that's in attack position. So as you get to see right here, I'm going to just fuse my Ojama Green and Black. We're going to get an attack position, Ojama Knight, boom, bada bang, there we go. Next up, we're going to want to do is we're going to want to normal summon into our Gravekeeper's Vassal. We're going to activate our Secret Pass to the Treasures. I didn't want to discard my Secret Pass to the Treasures, so that's why I had to face down. As long as you have Secret Pass to the Treasures, Union attacks in hand, Ojama Country, 2 of your monsters, you're good to go. I just had my, Secret Pass to Treasures face down because I didn't want to discard it because I needed to finish off the thing. You can use Secret Pass to Treasures, target your Gravekeeper's Vassal, and you're going to combo with your 2 different Union attacks on your Gravekeeper's Vassal, and then you're going to be able to go into your battle phase and go attack for game for 11,000 points of damage. You also, in this farm, could be successful too. You don't need to have Ojama King and Ojama Knight on the field. You can still reach that 10,000 points of damage if you have 2 Ojama Knights on the field. I should have mentioned that earlier, but so I'm going to mention it now. So that's pretty much it right there. You go for that damage, you deal that, you're good to go from there. Now let's go switch to the replay where I showed you on basically I had a good hand, but sadly, thanks to Bastion, he oofed me pretty bad. So let me show you another replay of mine. So in this replay, I went first, and what I shouldn't have not done, I shouldn't have done this, but if you're playing the Fusion Time route and you're going first, I would recommend not sending any monsters, especially if you already have 2 Ojama cards in your hand. Because if you don't top deck into Poly in your opening hand, but you have your Ojama cards to Fusion Summon into Ojama Knight, I recommend not playing any monsters so that Bastion can attack you for how many points of damage, and you only need to lose 1,500 damage to top deck into your Polymerization. But anyways, though, this is where things went really bad. So if Bastion has a Kazuki out on the field, and that is his only monster after you lock his thing, so I guess I'll talk about this a little bit later, but we searched for our Ojama cards, didn't take any damage. Luckily, though, I top deck into Poly. So we're going to go into Polymerization. We're going to fuse our monsters together. I just went for Ojama King because I could, and I kind of did that, put him in defense position, and I locked down both of his fields. If Bastion has a Kazuki out on the field and these other zones are locked, you need to get rid of Kazuki as quick as you can. Sadly for me, I got really unlucky for the fact that I never top deck into my Ojama Country, so that's why I kind of recommend playing Ojama Country for some people, because with Ojama Country, it switches the attack defense of all monsters as long as you have an Ojama card on the field. Due to that, if I was able to, I would have swung into the Kazuki to make sure I would deal enough damage, but what happened instead is that Bastion would draw a card, mill a card, draw a card, mill a card, and I literally could do nothing because I never top decked into my Ojama Country, which was really unfortunate. And that's just one of the reasons why I just hate using this deck. The other decks I'm going to show you in a little bit, like those ones so much because they just work so much better compared to Ojama on the Ojama farm deck. So I strongly do not recommend this one, but I understand that a lot of people do not have all the cards that I do. So yeah, I basically lose right here. I was actually going to do a cut. But as you can see, like, I tried my best, top deck into Ojama Country, and things did not go well. So yeah, that was basically it with this replay. Nothing too crazy right there. So let's go do another cut, and I'm going to show you guys the other alternative option, and that, in my opinion, is a lot better than the Ojama. So let's go switch to it real quick. So the second deck I'm going to be showing you guys is the Paleozoic farm deck from Duel Links meta. Be sure to go check the website out. Link in the description down below. And I'm not gonna lie, this deck works pretty well, and it's honestly a ton of fun to play, especially compared to the Ojama farm deck. I absolutely hate that farm deck to death. Anyways, though, so this is more of kind of like an expensive deck, but there's honestly a lot of cards you could substitute for, and the majority of the cards that you're going to need for this farm is these Paleozoics right here, and then of course the staple little cards right here. So about like 11 of these cards are pretty much just farmable. You don't really need to spend money on these cards. Pretty much all the back row choices and all that stuff is kind of your personal preference on what you're going to use. But the list that I have, I strongly recommend, but there's a couple changes that I would make. So let's get into this deck list right here. We're going to be rocking the restart skill in case if we open up with a hand that we don't really like. Like, for example, if you open up with like Pikaia and the Marrella, or however you pronounce these cards, you're probably going to want to restart that for some decent back row, like Drowning Mirror Force or Wall of Disruption. Anyways, though, as always, Gravekeeper's Vassal is from Ranked Duels. I already talked about that earlier in the video. Wetlands is from Ranked Duels also, so use a Ranked Duels SR ticket to get those. Unity Attack, if you don't have them, just check your SR tickets. While it doesn't say Ranked Duels SR tickets, some of the gift SR tickets that we've gotten, you know, throughout the months and all that stuff, you can get Unity Attack through that, which is pretty good. Secret Passive Treasures is from the Ultimate Rising or Selection Box Volume 1. And then now from this portion right here, this is kind of personal preference. If you have Drowning Mirror Force, I strongly recommend it. Drowning Mirror Force is really nice against Bastion, because if he has a full field of monsters, you can use Drowning Mirror Force to return them all back to his deck. So, because Bastion's deck just mills like crazy, so Drowning Mirror Force is pretty good. I put Paleozoic Hallucigenia in here only because I don't have 3 copies of Canadia and Floodgate. If you have 3 copies of Floodgate, Trapple, and Canadia, I'd strongly recommend it. That was actually the original deck list that Duel Links meta had. They actually had no Drowning Mirror Force, no Wall Disruption, no Hallucigenia, and they were actually running like 3 copies of Canadia, 3 copies of Floodgate, Trapple. Right there, but I don't got that, so we're going to be substituting that for, you know, Wall Disruption, Drowning Mirror Force, and of course Hallucigenia. So there's that right there. Floodgate Trapple from the Generation Next box. We have 2 copies of Wall Disruption for the Servants of Kings mini box. All that stuff right there, so that's pretty good. And then now these last 6 cards are more like, they're from boxes, like they are, but they're honestly pretty easy to get. So you can go into the Valiant Souls, hopefully pull the, you know, your 3 Piccolas and then 3 Marrellas, or however you pronounce these Paleozoic cards right here. This one right here, this red Paleozoic, is actually really good because basically with this card's effect, if you discard a Paleozoic card, you get to draw 2 cards, and this is going to help you out for thinning out your deck and be able to get to that farm moment way before Bastion decks himself out. So you're going to want to use this Paleozoic to draw cards. This one right here, honestly, I just recommend you to just keep this card in your hand and use it as this card fodder for this Paleozoic, only because you can just use this one, pitch it to the graveyard, and then draw 2 cards. So that's my recommendation right there, and I'll show you guys how this deck operates in the dual replay. But yeah, let's get into the dual replay right here, and that's pretty much the whole deck list. So let's go switch to it. So I went second in this replay right here, Bastion versus Jaden, and my opening hand was actually pretty good. So we had a Drowning Mirror Force, Paleozoic Canadia, and the Marrella right here. And I believe all I did, actually no, I set 3. So yeah, I got the really good hand right here. I got the Piccola, I got the Drowning Mirror Force, and I got the Canadia right here. And also, I would recommend you guys to not clog up your field with non-chainable cards or whatever. Just be aware of that. Be sure that the cards that you do face down, you're going to be able to activate at almost any point. And all that stuff right there. But yeah, anyways, I triggered the Piccola card immediately to draw 2 cards. Kazuki plays, does the whole mill thing. This is really annoying. Like, the zombies are doing what the zombies do best, and they are milling, sacrificing, all that stuff. Good thing I opened up with Drowning Mirror Force super early in the game, so I can just throw these cards back into the deck, which is really nice. And then also, what you got to keep in mind too, is that when you're special summoning your Paleozoic cards from the graveyard, you're only going to want to have a maximum of 2 on your field. You do not want to clog up your field with 3 Paleozoic cards, because on the final turn, you're going to need to have room for your Gravekeeper's Vassal to go for the 10,000 points of damage. Anyways, so from here, I draw a card, set of Canadia. He summons his Mazeki, I play my Canadia, flip it down. Special summons another one of my Paleozoic cards. Right here, so now I have 2 on the field. Don't want to add another one right there. Set down the Hallucigenia. I didn't feel like setting down Drowning Mirror Force because I didn't expect me to like run out of all my cards right away, so I didn't set that down. But yeah, we activate the Canadia to protect their monster. We special summon another Paleozoic back in the field because I just have 1 die. be pretty conservative with your cards. Don't waste them out like really quickly. Anyways, though, we go into another 9-tailed fox, really annoying. Goblin zombie thins out the deck. Like Bastion's like whole deck thins out like crazy. This moment right here, now I recommend you guys to try your best to not inflict any battle damage to Bastion unless it's absolutely necessary. If you inflict battle damage to Bastion, most likely what's gonna happen is that you're only gonna get like 7,000 score instead of 8,000 score. So try your best to not do that, but in this farm specifically, this was the very first time I was trying this deck out, and I inflict some battle damage to him. So at that point, I was like, I'm just gonna keep inflicting battle damage so I could stick around. I probably could have let both of my Palos like die off and set down like Drowning Mirror Force later. I really could have done that, but I didn't choose to do that, as you can tell right here. So the most proper play to get the better chance of 8,000 scores, I should have set my Drowning Mirror Force, let the Canadias die, and then kind of go from there. But whatever. It happens. I'm showing you guys my mistakes so you guys don't make them and all that stuff right there. But yeah, my Paleozoics get yeeted off of here. I'm gonna finally go for that Drowning Mirror Force play. Activate the Wetlands. Wetlands is actually really good because it doubles the attack of all the Palos, which is nice. So if you don't allow Bastion to get a bunch of monsters on the field, you won't be able to get over your Palos. As you see, a big 2400 Palo right there. Really, really nice right there. Set the Wall of Disruption. Which is pretty good. Bastion just sets a card right now. I play the Marrella's effect to mill out my deck. Actually, the one good thing about Marrella, though, now thinking about it, and I should have mentioned this in the deck list video, but you can actually use Marrella to mill some of your trap cards, which is actually pretty good. So near the end of the duel, when you used all of your draw cards, you should use Marrella to thin out your other trap cards so that you can go faster and be able to get that final turn that you need. Anyways, he summons the Gazuki. That kind of made me mad because that Gazuki card is just going to mill and mill and mill. I waited for Bastion to switch it to defense position because eventually he will switch his Gazuki to defense position, and once he does, just swing into it. Just be aware though that just be prepared though before you swing into the Gazuki to have back row to defend yourself, because Bastion could easily summon a red ogre that's like 2,800 attack points, so watch out for that and all that jazz right there. Another thing I would recommend too is to keep attacking into his zombie cards in certain situations if you have the means to defend yourself. Because I know that he has one of those, I forgot what the monster is called, edit it on your screen right now. But that monster, once that gets summoned on the field, it throws back every single monster back into the deck, which is super, super annoying. So be sure to keep attacking his zombie monsters if you can, and if you have the trap cards to defend yourself if he does summon into a big zombie monster. Anyways, though, as per usual, on the final turn, once you have two, Paleozoic cards in attack position at 2,400 points with your Wetlands, you're going to want to summon into your Gravekeeper Vassal, go into the Secret Passage Treasures, activate the Union Attack, activate the Union Attack, and then you basically go from game right here. If I didn't inflict any battle damage to Bastion, I would have easily got 8k score from here, but I got a solid 7k score with this deck, which was pretty cool. So that is pretty nice right there, pretty easy farm. And then now I'm going to show you guys the last farm deck that I'm going to help you guys out with. And this one, in my opinion, is the best one, so let's go switch to it. Okay, so this is the farm deck that I personally like the most, and I actually already made an entire video on how to use this farm deck specifically. So if you need to know how to use this farm deck right here, be sure to go click over here. There's going to be a little video that'll pop up on the top right corner of your screen. There's my whole farm guide for this deck specifically that I made real quick. This one, in my opinion, is probably the best deck for farming against Bastion. This one was able to consistently give me 8k score and all that does right there, so I strongly recommend this one. So there you go, that's the third deck out of the 3. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for today's Ultimate Farm Guide video. If this video helped at any point and you're watching to the end of this video, be sure to go hit that like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content and all that jazz right there. And also, if you want to check out some of my other videos, they'll pop up somewhere on the screen and all that jazz. But seriously though, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll go see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, peace.